Michael Lee with The Road to My Ride, and we are here at Royal Purple Raceway in Baytown, Texas, just outside of Houston, with Top Alcohol Dragster driver Megan Meyer. And thank you so much, Megan, for agreeing to talk with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, now the first question I have for you: what is it like going from 0 to 280 miles an hour and back again in 5.5 seconds?
It's really hard to explain. I mean, just imagine strapping yourself to your rocket. You go, from 0 to 280. It's really nothing that you can really compare it to besides maybe like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Just maybe times 10 with that. But it's really an incredible experience, and it's such an adrenaline rush. Although we're strapped into the car and it's hot and humid out and you're sweating, and the first thing you want to do is just get out of there as quick as you can. It all makes it worth it in the end to experience that speed and go that fast, and then and also to run well and be confident in your car, confident in your crew guys that are with you, and everything just to kind of come together and make great runs and win races. So it's awesome.
Absolutely. Now, of course, your father, Randy Meyer, is, I guess you could say, almost a legend or a legend in the field of top alcohol dragster drivers. Now, and you have a younger sister who also races.
Yes.
And what is her name?
Rachel.
Rachel. Okay, what was it like for the two of you to grow up with your dad being the great builder, driver, etc. that he is and was? What was that like?
It was tough. We didn't have the typical childhood
he put you to work,
other people would. Exactly. So our race shop is at our house. So as soon as we got home from work, or because we were both cheerleaders, so as soon as we got home after cheerleading practice, or if we had a game, we'd have to go into the race shop and work. So, and even now I still work nights and weekends after I work all day long. And it's it's a great way to grow up like that, and you learn a lot really fast, and it's something that you don't really appreciate until you're older.
Yeah.
So I remember, having, being in bad moods because I had to work instead of getting to hang out with my friends or stuff like that. But it's really, I couldn't ask for anything better because I get to be out here and race with the guys that I grew up with. And, they're my second family, too, because the guys that's racing now have been racing my whole life, and they got to drive against my dad. And so they're just family for us, and we all help out each other. And, we get to learn how to drive race cars and work on race cars, and we get to travel the country. So it's great, even though we get to miss out on things that's happening at home. I'd rather be out here just because this is, the lifestyle that I've always had.
Yeah, and I guess, like you say, now that you're older, you probably may look at some of your cohorts the same age and wonder, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah. Sometimes, I went to school and I got my bachelor's degree in graphic design, and there's still some kids that kind of don't know what direction they're going into, and they might have stayed in school just to kind of figure out what they want to do with their life, or they might have just went and got a job that they didn't like, and now they're miserable and not happy and all that. So I'm just thankful that I went to school with racing in mind, so I went for graphic design, and I did a little bit of marketing in there too, so that way I could bring that back to the racetrack. And with that, I'm able to do hero cards, websites, uniforms, t-shirts for not just our team, but for every team out here.
Okay.
So like one of my latest clients I did was Lee Calloway, and this is his home track. It's a special race for him, so we made some hero cards for him for this weekend.
Well, that is just amazing. I mean, it's a whole synergistic thing, right?
Yeah.
Where you put all these different components together.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of tend more to the business side, the kind of behind the scenes of racing side, whereas my sister, she's going to school right now for mechanical engineering, and so she loves working on the cars and getting her hands dirty, and I enjoy that, but that's not my favorite part. I like communicating with sponsors and talking, doing interviews just like this.
Sure.
So I like the promotion advertising side of it more than the mechanical side of it. So,
Right.
and it kind of works out. So I kind of take care of that stuff, and she kind of takes care of the other stuff.
Yeah, and you were telling me a little bit before, I guess, when it comes to working on your race cars, the two of you kind of have your own areas of expertise that you combine together to.
Yeah, so so I do still have to work on the car, and especially growing up, none of our crew guys really live close to us. A lot of our crew guys are just volunteers, and they're just kind of in different areas all over the country. So we have one of our crew guys here, Jim. He's from Tulsa, so he helps us out in Louisiana in the Oklahoma races and the Texas races because that's in his region. But he won't really go with us when we go up north or go out west.
So
and
you kind of have to be able to.
Yeah, exactly. So we have quite a few guys that have been on our team for years, so we can trust them. They know how our operation works, and we're confident that they'll do everything right on the car. We don't have to double check them. But when we're at home, it's usually just me and my sister and my dad.
Yeah.
And so growing up, we kind of had our own little jobs on the car. So she would kind of take care of the back end and the clutch, and I would do bottom end, and we'd work on top end together.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of did the safety part to the electronic side of it as well. So we kind of just took over the whole thing and kind of did as much as we could on our own from what we learned from our dad. And now we've been successful, and we kind of built up our team. So now we have 3 Top Alcohol Dragsters, 2 Super Comp Dragsters. We just built our new bigger race shop, and we have a full-time crew guy now, and he's from Kansas City, so he's able to come and work every day and kind of take over our job since my sister's in school and I work full-time now. So
and
we're
you guys,
not really.
You're based in Olathe, Kansas?
Yes, Olathe, Kansas. Yeah, it's about a half hour south of Kansas City.
Okay, so it's pretty close. So now, how old were you when you actually strapped into the seat of a dragster for the first time?
I was 10 years old.
10?
Yeah, in a junior dragster. We waited until my sister was old enough. So back then the rule was you couldn't start until you were 8. And my sister's 2 years younger. So 2004 was the first time that my sister and I hopped into junior dragsters.
So the two of you could start at the same time.
Right.
Right. Okay.
And we just found there's this one guy who was selling his 2 junior dragsters. His kids were kind of at the age where they, kind of wanted to go into other avenues with their life, and they're just typical teenagers. They just wanted to go and have fun, and so they were just little dinky cars, and so we bought them and bring them for a few years, and then we just kind of slowly improved and got a little better equipment, nicer cars each year and stuff. So we kind of worked our way up. My parents knew nothing about junior dragster racing, knew nothing about bracket racing, so we were able to go to the local track in Kansas City, and they had testing every Wednesday and every Friday night. So we would go there as much as we could after school, test as much as we could, and build relationships with the other families there, and as well as all the track guys there, and so we could learn as much as we could. And it was all just one big family. And for the kids that we raced with, we were all growing up together, moving through the ranks together, and so it's just pretty cool because I stay in touch with a few of them now, and a lot of them kept racing, but there's some of them that that didn't keep racing, and that's okay. You don't have to keep racing your whole life. It's not that typical of a thing to do, and so we still have a relationship with those parents and their kids, and it's just great because we get to see them at the racetrack and cheer them on, and they cheer us on, and it's just one big family. So
what type of engines did the junior dragsters have?
They were just kind of what we say. It's like a lawnmower engine. It's just a really small Briggs & Stratton.
Right.
So just a 1-cylinder deal.
Yeah,
so.
you don't want an 8-year-old strapping into a 4,000 horsepower.
Exactly. Yeah, and they only run 1/8 mile, so they don't even run the full quarter mile like what we do.
I understand. I guess after junior dragsters, it's called Super Comp.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that car and how the step up from junior to that, and what's involved in
that. So Super Comp is really the first step you take from a junior dragster if you want to keep racing a dragster. So there's a few other classes that you can run in with door cars, but the Super Comp class is really the only next one up with the dragster. And so there's a few super classes. So there's Super Comp, Super Gas, Super Street,
Okay.
and it's just based off an index. So there's starts at like 1090, 9.9 seconds, 8.9 seconds. So Super Comp is the fastest one out of all those, which they run the 8.9 seconds. And so it's kind of a big jump to go from 7-8 seconds in a junior dragster,
lawnmower engine up to
in an eighth mile up to 8-7 seconds in quarter miles.
So what was it like the first time you actually did a run in one of those?
So I went to the Frank Hawley drag racing school down in Gainesville, and we were there racing, so I was able to actually bring my Super Comp car, which is an old Jake's car that they had, and bring it with me so I could learn how to drive that through the school.
Okay.
And so I was able to, my very first run I did in that car was at the school. So we did a burnout and backed up, and that was the first time that I've ever done that, because you don't do that in a junior dragster.
Right.
And and they have cones there, so you can't really get out of the groove. And Frank's there on the starting line, so he'll let you know if you did something wrong, or if he approves that you can go down the track. So we'll stage, and then the tree comes down, you launch, and you'll go about 60 foot, and then he'll tell you to stop, and then you just coast all the way back, and then if he approves it, then you can go the next distance, and then half track, and then 1,000 foot, and then quarter mile. So it takes 2-3 days to really do it, but it's completely worth it, because you learn everything you need to on the track as well as in the classroom, and he goes over the mentality of it and all that. So it's, I'm really glad that we did that. Unfortunately, my sister wasn't able to go to the school, but I was able to teach her everything that I learned.
Okay.
And so it was a little bit easier for her, because I had 2 years of racing Super Comp under my belt, so I was able to help her. Another thing that we didn't know how to race, I had to learn on my own. Had to learn by communicating with the families at our tracks and build relationships with them. Just kind of restart all over again, like how we did in junior dragsters.
Okay, and how many years has it been since you moved up to Top Alcohol?
Well, I got my license for Top Alcohol in 2015.
Okay.
I did 2 regional races in 2015, and then 2016 was when I did a full schedule.
Okay, so I guess you're in your second year of a full schedule.
Yeah, just my sophomore season.
Right.